What's up, YouTube? This is Chris, and of course, this is my channel, Bar911970. I hope you guys are enjoying your night, and as always, I thank you guys for checking out my video. Alright, guys, I was watching actually a video from Corey C. a little while ago, and it actually inspired me to make a video. His latest video, he was talking about the fact that he believes that, and to a certain extent, it's very true, but I'm going to explain how you don't always necessarily have to be this way. He says money basically is kind of the pursuit of happiness, where money can afford you more happiness to do things. And like I said, to a certain extent, that is very true, because if you want to go vacationing around the world, the easiest way is to have a lot of money to do that. So it does afford you to have time. Now, that is not the only way. It's one of the easier ways, because if you win the lottery and win $50 million, you know, it's going to be a lot easier to do things. But you don't necessarily have to be some millionaire to be able to afford to do things that you love. And this video is basically going to be talking about how you can have fun and not have millions of dollars. Now, of course, you know, that helps. But I think one of the things we learn, because I was this way for a while. For those of you who watch my old channel, know that between roughly about 2005 to about late 2007, I was making lots of money. I mean, I was lead singer of a band. My DJ business was going phenomenal. My massage business was going great. I was making money hand over foot. But I wasn't happy. I mean, I could afford to buy things that I wanted. I mean, I bought the latest big screen TVs, the latest video games. I went where I wanted to go. So yes, money can buy you things. That's definitely true. But I think as we age, our priorities shift. We start to grow, we start to mature, and we start to see that happiness is not always about getting what ultimately is debt, which is what they call money, which is nothing more than fiat currency. It can make purchases. I'm not going to sit here and say that, you know, money is worthless, because if that was the case, then people would just throw it out. So they don't do that. But, like, for example, people that watch my channel know that I am not a millionaire. I am also not on welfare either, because I believe in the fact that you have to work and you have to do whatever it takes, in a legal sense, obviously, to make sure you can afford the things you need, to clothe yourself, to feed yourself, things like that. So I don't believe in milking the system and getting free stuff and a free ride. I believe, unless, like, for example, you're a single parent, or you're disabled, or some kind of thing, or you're elderly, or there's a situation where you have no choice, that's one thing. But I'm talking about able-bodied people milking the system are what ultimately causes the problems that this country and places around the world, the problems that we have. Because instead of going out to find jobs and doing things to earn their livings, they want to sit at home, have governments provide them with the things that they need, which provides no incentive for them to do anything. And then that's fun for a little while, but that gets old really quick. So one of the things that I want to tell people is, as far as employment, I know it's hard to find jobs. It's not impossible. And the thing is, if you use this brain that you have, you can always come up with ideas that can help you to survive. Now, again, like I said, I'm no millionaire, so I'm not going to sit here and say my life has been easy. When the times I was making money, I mean, I was just spending it left and right. A lot of that was gone, because I went to comedy clubs. I went partying all the time. I went drinking, went to strip clubs with my friends, went to concerts, you know, just blew that money away where you're going to get no return. So when it came to jobs, I realized at a young age that I didn't really want to go to college. I went to Oneonta. I went to college basically to get away from my family and the house and try and do something different. But ultimately, I realized that if I was going to make it in this world, I wasn't going to be behind a 9-to-5 desk. Because as far as intelligence when it comes to the real world, I wasn't going to be smart enough to, you know, become a doctor or a lawyer or something where you're going to be set for life. So I knew it was going to have to be based on my ingenuity and my ideas. And that's why, ultimately, I became a massage therapist, ended up having my own business. Now, as far as my own business, I have very little overhead. I mean, I rent a small room in a salon, so I'm not paying like a big for a big building that's $900 to $2,000 a month plus electricities and all the other bills. I'm just renting a small little room. So there's very minimal that I have to put into it. The only thing that really I have to pay for is basically every 5 years or so, I have to update my license for my massage therapy. Other than that, I mean, I already have the sheets. I do my own laundry. The only thing I have to purchase is oil, and I buy it in bulk, so that lasts about 5 years for the amount of bulk of it I buy. I also I started singing in a band from 2003 to 2012. Now, doing things that you love. There's an old saying that says, if you do what you love, you will never work a day in your life. And I remember the first time I sang in the band, I was actually singing backup, and ultimately I became the lead singer. They actually got rid of the actual lead singer, and I replaced them. But I originally started out as a backup singer for the lead singer to get a little break and me sing songs that he couldn't sing. And I remember the first night that I sang, I'm up on stage, I don't remember what songs I sang, but I'm performing live. There were hundreds of people paying attention to me. We got free drinks, free food. People were talking to us after every set. I had such a great time. My friends were all there. Some family member were there cheering me on. It was such a high. And then I remember at the end of the night, after I'm talking to a whole bunch of people, hooked up with a girl that had a great time, all of a sudden one of I think it was the drummer, comes up to me and hands me a $100 bill. And I'm like, wow, I had the most fun in my life, and I get paid to do this all on top of it? Now, $100 may not seem like a big deal, but you're talking 2003. You're talking me just getting off of an incredible high of entertaining a crowd, being the center of attention, having drinks, conversating with people, girls, guys, everything, having a great time, and then ends up somebody hands you $100 in cash. And I haven't looked back since. And since 2001, I have not worked a 9-to-5 job. Now, granted, I'm never going to be a millionaire with what I do, but it's afforded me the fact that I basically work part-time. Since 2001, I think I have put in an average of about a 17-hour work week, because not only do I do the DJing, which, by the way, DJing, I mean, it took me years to build up my system. I started out with a $4,000 little system. It was bare minimum, just enough to get by. And I built it and added over the years to the point now where my system is probably worth about $60,000 to $80,000. But you're talking from 2001 to 2014 to get to that point. So it can take time, but you add a little bit here, you do a little bit there, and you build it up, and it becomes a professional system like I have today. But, I mean, I'm getting paid to play music, and when I DJ music, most of the time, I'm playing music that I like. So I love what I'm playing. Very rarely do I have to play a song I've either never heard of or something I don't like, but the average time when I'm doing a DJ party, they trust in me to know that I'm going to play music that they like. So 99% of the music I play, I absolutely love, so it's fun doing that. Then I get to sing. So when I'm doing the DJing, I have a microphone, I'm the center of attention, getting everybody into it, and people love it. And then you get to hear other people sing, which makes it fun, because especially when you're doing karaoke. I mean, the job basically is you call up somebody's name, you put in the song, you listen to the people sing, you get people to applaud, you make a couple of jokes, make it fun, and then you get paid for it. And then I started doing the Orgone pyramids. Now, there's a lot of people out there that seem to have a major problem with the fact that I talk about with crystals and stuff. These are people that actually don't research it. They're basing it on, well, it sounds crazy, so I'm not really going to research what crystals are. I'm just going to not like it. But that's another business I started doing. I actually started it as a hobby. About 2.5 years ago, I was at the point where I was a little stressed out, and those of you who've been watching my channel for a while know the situations. I won't get into that here, but I got to the point where I needed a hobby, and it was in the middle of the summer, so I started researching about these Orgone pyramids, and I was like, that seems very interesting to me. So I started making them just as a hobby, and then I started showing them to people, and they loved them, and then somebody asked, well, are they for sale? Now, originally, I wasn't doing it as something to sell, But so many people actually offered to want to buy them, I started selling them. Next thing you know, and again, little bits at a time, I started adding more and more to the point where they went from these little trinkets to like very time-consuming items. It became another business. Then I started researching the organic products. And I started making them again just for myself and my family. I started making organic shampoos, organic soaps, all these different things. Next thing you know, it's now another part of a business. Then I added this next thing. The next thing I started getting into a hobby with, and I've already sold dozens of these, is where I take a crystal and I do a wire wrap necklace. And I'll show you a couple that I've made. And it was just a hobby, and again, but it was so much fun doing. I put it on my website, and then all of a sudden people started ordering more and more of them. One of them I wanted to show I've actually made 5 times, and I actually have to make another one. But I'll show you a couple of these wire wrap necklaces. Now this is a black tool of mine, and I just added the copper wire, the wire wrapping, and I'll show you the back. Add it to a necklace. I'll show you 3 or 4. Now there's a reason why I'm doing this. This is blue laced agate. Again, wire wrap necklace, and I bought all these different strands of necklaces. This is a pyrite, or what they call fool's gold. And last but not least, this is one of my favorites. This is a chevron amethyst. So again, I started doing this as a hobby. Now, I'm not doing this to kind of show off. I'm not doing this to brag or anything like that. I'm showing it as a reason that there are only no jobs if you limit your imagination. Yes, if you try and go out and work for somebody else, you are destined to be in the clutches of somebody else. You're going to make somebody else money. You're going to do everything that they want. You're going to work their hours when they say. If they tell you not to come in, you don't come in. You can't call in sick. You have to work and get whatever amount they decide to pay. If you come up with something, whether it be an idea or a product or a service, you dictate what you do. But here's my thing. Have fun with it. And that's something I forgot from when I started my old channel, Barn on 11967. From 2011 to about 2013, I lost that whole excitement. I was so angry about everything. It was like kind of like having a death in the family. And those of you who watch my channel know I experienced that. There's that shock, and then there's that anger. There's phases you have to go through. And eventually there's acceptance. So I think over time, if you stick with things, you will overcome the anger, the fear, that lower vibrational level that keeps you stagnant. And you are only limited to your thoughts. So as far as a job is concerned, is it difficult? It can be. But here it is. And by the way, I am now starting another band. And I wasn't even looking into doing it. I just started karaoke DJing again about a month ago at a place I used to DJ at. They called me and basically said, you know, we want you back because we didn't realize how good of a DJ you were until you decided to leave and we couldn't replace you. So they called me and I started working there again. And then all of a sudden, one of the people that used to go there years ago told me they're starting a band and they wanted me to be the lead singer. So now I'm going to be a lead singer of a band again. And we are going to practice and we are going to make money doing this. We're going to go to bars and we're going to do what I used to do. And I'm going back into the things I love. So here, what I'm trying to tell you is, if you decide to create something, to be a service of something, to make your own business, and you love what you do, you're going to be excited about it, and things are going to fall into place. I got another step now. In some videos I made a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about how I was getting back into my old comic books. Besides coins and besides all the other things I used to collect, I used to love collecting comic books. I started that back in the 80s when I was a teenager. I'm showing my age. But I started getting into some of the comics again. And you'd be amazed that if you love what you do, how easily all of a sudden income starts coming into your favor so you can continue to do it. Even though you think, oh, well, I can't buy these. I don't have the money. You'd be amazed that when you put the excitement into it, how all of a sudden money just happens to find you. And I've always been a firm believer in that. So I actually might get to the point where I am going to get a lot of these comics graded, and I might do a video showing some of the ones I've picked up recently and start adding another business with that. So you're talking about potentially selling comics again. I used to do that a lot. I used to make a lot of money. Lead singer in a band, making organic products, making these wire necklaces, being a DJ, being a massage therapist, and what little amount I make on YouTube. So you're talking 7 different jobs, quote unquote, that I could do anytime I want, are fun to do, easy to do. I could work my own hours. I'm my own boss. I don't have to work if I don't want to. And I'm earning a living. Now, is it something that's going to be like Donald Trump? Of course not. But you know what? It affords me the time to stay home with my family. It affords me the time to do what I want. And you could do that too. The problem is, this society conditions you to feel like you have to go to school, you have to get a degree, you have to go find a job and work happily ever after. And you're already starting out, when you go to college, what happens most of the time? You have to get a loan. So already you're tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, depending on what type of career you're looking for. And you're talking, I remember when I went to college, I went to Oneonta. For those of you who went to Oneonta, you know what that means by Oneonta. I went for a semester and I hated it. And that's when I got into my drinking and drug phase, my little testing of all the little things out there, the mushrooms, the pot, all that other fun stuff. So I didn't really go to class, and half the people that were there didn't go to class. And I'm sure you know a lot of people that went to college, maybe even yourself, that you didn't really take it seriously. And you could tell by the school, because the teachers basically said the first day you go to the class, it's like, here's what you have to research. There's going to be a report at the end of the semester. I don't care if you show up because there's too many people to even have an attendance. If you research all the stuff that we tell you that you have to do and you do the report at the end, we'll pass you. There's no real incentive. So unless you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer or you're really dedicated to something, the average person that goes to college, they're going to the party to get out of their house. And they end up with some degree in English or something, or some kind of degree that's not going to really help you. And you end up starting your life in debt. And then you're trapped. And then you get whatever mediocre job you could get. You're working at Walmart or McDonald's or some deli or some little job just because they want you to feel grateful you got anything. And you hate what you do, but you feel like you have to. And here's the thing that I'm trying to teach with all the stuff that I'm talking about, because you can hear the excitement in the things that I talk about because there's passion behind it, is there is no such thing as have to. Like I've said in so many videos, it's all about choice. And you can choose to work a 9-to-5 job that you hate, or you can choose to move on and try and do something better. Now, of course, it's not always easy. But like they say, nothing worth having is easy. It can be, but it doesn't always necessarily mean it has to be. So most people it's like relationships. Most people will stay in an abusive, nasty, bad for them relationship because they're used to it, than the fear of being alone and wondering what if happens down the line. So most people will stay in a job that they hate because they feel like, well, I have the job, I need the money. Sometimes you need sacrifices. At one point, I had to take a couple of steps back. I couldn't go out to the movies. I couldn't go out partying and everything. But as you age, you don't care about that stuff anymore. I've done all the drinking I want to. I've done all the partying. I've done all the hooking up with girls I want. I mean, I'm married now. And people, as they grow and mature, their priorities change. And they realize that as much as money is nice, like they say, money is the root of all evil. And all it is creating debt, which makes the society worse and worse. So to me, the whole thing, about, the job market is so hard. Yeah, but who says you have to follow what everybody else does? If my channel teaches you anything, it's to teach you to be an individual, not a follower. So if you can come up with an idea, if you can create a product, if you could paint a picture, if you could draw a comic book character, if you can invest in something you love, you can actually turn a hobby into a business, into something that may not make you wealthy, but can make you afford to be able to live and be independent. And that's why I don't work for corporations. That's why I don't have to worry about somebody else telling me what I can and cannot do. Somebody yelling at me saying, oh, you have to do this now. I work when I want to work. So you have to think, do I want to work 40, 50 hours a week, making bare minimum just to get by and at a job that you hate that's slowly killing you so you can afford a couple of extra things that you end up in debt for anyway? Or do you want to be happy? Sometimes you can have both. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say money is going to cause problems. I mean, it can, depending on what you spend it on and how you spend it and how much you spend of it. But what the whole purpose of this video is for you to be happy. And if you start trusting your instincts and you let go of the fear of, oh, I got to stay at this job because I need this job and jobs are hard and I'm afraid to take the chance. Once you lose the fear and you put your passion and excitement into something, you will be amazed at how many things will just fit into place. How all of a sudden somebody will come along that'll help you in a situation you needed. Or all of a sudden some money that you didn't think was coming to you is all of a sudden comes to you so it can help you to afford the product that you need to sell. Or all of a sudden you decide, oh, I want to be a painter. And all of a sudden you talk to some friend and he says, oh yeah, I know this guy, he's got all this painting equipment that he doesn't want to use and he's throwing it out. Do you want it? You'd be amazed at how many things fall into place. So I hope this video will help inspire people to grow, to take charge of their own life. Because the more independent you are, the less these governments that we know are corrupt, the banks, the corporations we know are corrupt because they're lining their own pockets, basically feeding off of the labor, the fruits and labors of the average person. The more independent you are, the less control they have over you. And that's why I talk about getting out of the banking system. That's why I tell people to shop locally, support your local businesses, because that's basically what I am at this point. I'm a local business. I am not a corporation. I'm not affiliated with corporations. I don't own a bank account. I make enough to be happy. I will never be a millionaire, nor do I ever need to be. Would it be nice to be one? Absolutely. But I'm still staying at home. When I do work, it's all fun things. It's my business, and I earn a living doing creations, making people laugh, entertaining them. I am so looking forward to the next gig and all these new songs I have to learn. And it's funny because I'm the oldest one in the band. I just turned 44 in November. Excuse me, our guitarist is 22. So I am literally twice this guy's age. So some of the songs they suggested, I've never even heard of. So I actually have to memorize these songs. But to me, it's exciting. And I hope you can hear it in my voice. And I hope that convinces somebody out there that knows if you're in a rut, it's only because you're not using your passion. You're not trusting your instincts. You're letting fear control you. And that's what they want. So you could end up being another spoke in their wheel that they could twist and turn any way they want and discard you once you become irrelevant. So here I am, 44 years old, and I finally get it. I'm not making as much money as I used to, but I'm a lot happier. And to me, that is more important than anything. I've done the 9-to-5 job. I've done the desk job. I've done the boss reprimanding you because you didn't do everything perfectly to their standards. To the point now, I'm my own boss. I create things. I entertain. And I love doing it. And I hope one person out there that watches this video will get inspired and get out of that wheel, get out of that slave system, get out of that rut where you're not happy because all you're doing is affording yourself a nice grave. And what is that in the end? If you don't see your family, if you never see your kids, if you're always working, if you're always stressed out, if you're always getting ulcers and headaches and tension and you're angry and bitter, what are you doing? Is that money worth it? Do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. So I've made this video long enough. I want to thank you guys for watching. It's a late night. I have a whole 1 hour's worth of work tomorrow. I have to go in for a massage and then I get to relax for the rest of the day. So for me, that's a beautiful way to spend the day. So I hope you guys decide today is the day I start taking more responsibility for my life because everything is a choice, including choosing to do the wrong thing or nothing. I hope you don't do that anymore. And you'll be amazed at how quickly your life will turn around. You may not become the next Donald Trump, but you know what? you may be a lot happier. Thanks for watching, guys. Enjoy the rest of your night, and good luck to all of you.